Mr Speaker, I rise on behalf of New Zealand First to support the Prime Minister's statement, and could I too start by acknowledging the victims of this terrible weather event through the upper half of the North Island, or the upper part of the North Island, and just acknowledge the previous speaker, Dana Fitzpatrick, as a local MP, and all the other local MPs that have been out on the ground, including the Prime Minister and Emergency Management Minister. In terms of Dana Fitzpatrick and her... Kirkpatrick, sorry, Dana. I was actually up around that part of the country just before Christmas, and I'd never been there, and I was struck how beautiful it was, how challenged it was, actually, in terms of some of the socio-economic issues at play there, and we're very proud at New Zealand First of what we've done at Opotiki, and starting to turn Opotiki around with the mussel farm there and the investment. I was very confronted by what I saw in Ruatoria, and we do have to do more in that part of the country, but there's a major setback, and we stand united with the rest of the government, I'm sure the Parliament, in determining to build back better and support those communities. One thing I would like to say that hasn't been raised in a number of the contributions so far, one story that has not been told in this debate is the lack of an animal welfare issue. It has been an extraordinary effort from our farmers, helped by good forecast, but also the likes of Beef and Lamb, Dairy NZ, our teams at MPI, the on-farm support and animal welfare teams, preparing our farmers and making sure that everyone knew that this was a serious event. And it was great to see that the animal welfare hasn't been one of the issues of the myriad of issues that we are dealing with now. The milk companies that made sure the vats were empty so that there would be capacity to take milk if the roads were down. Could I just talk to the rural advisory groups and those teams that are kicking in, the CDEM teams? I sit in on a number of those calls, and this is where the really hard work begins. This is the long tail, and long after the media have gone and the speeches in this House have finished, they are on the job helping to coordinate the recovery of these communities. It was great announcement today that Todd Macleay, Minister Macleay, and I were able to make around the $200,000 for the Rural Support Trust, because while the fixing the infrastructure is one thing, the toll it takes on people in our farming communities and our rural communities, the Rural Support Trust comes in behind and helps, is highly valued by us, and that was an appropriate announcement today. But it is not about totally being reactive, and I've heard some criticism on the other side of the House and a lot of the questions coming forward about us not being proactive enough around managing these severe weather events. Nothing could be further from the truth. Within the Regional Infrastructure Fund, $200 million. $200 million, which is co-funded up to $450 million alongside regional councils for 74 flood protection schemes during this course of the Parliament. Of course, it builds on the work of the PGF, that the halcyon days of the PGF, where in Cyclone Gabriel, Taradale was saved, and the recent floods in Tasman, Motueka was saved by those previous investments. So we have been proactive in the regional infrastructure and regional development space. The $50 million that went into Marion, I remember I was in the House at the time when even some of the people on this side of the House were in the opposition at the time, were talking about the Shane Jones slush fund. Well, that $50 billion that's built resilience into that Marion network around the country is really paying dividends now. It was a far-sighted investment then, and it's paying dividends now. So we hold our head high in this party in terms of our contribution to building resilience in New Zealand and our rural communities in particular. So, of course, New Zealand First in that sense is, with all due respect to our friends in more Muldoon than Milton Friedman, we do believe the government has a role to play in these, in intervention and investment. But what a year it has been for our rural communities leading into this, putting aside and looking out to the bigger picture, these current events. Two huge 2025, $62 billion from our primary sector, 83% of our merchandise exports. In my time in agriculture, which goes back a way, I have never seen such a broad-based recovery and a contribution from our primary sector. It is certainly extraordinary, and we intend to build upon it. And it's not just from the market, it's taking the red tape away, getting the monkey off the back, the compliance reduction, the RMA reforms, the taking away the threat of a methane tax. This is a government that understands farming, not least of which because of many of us are farmers, but we trust them, we value them, and we back them. And boy, are they returning that trust with us in spades and contributing so strongly to our rural communities, but to our country as well. Tourism in our rural communities booming back in many places, up to COVID levels as well. And also in our rural communities, we can see mining returning. And I went to the Bendigo mine. We're getting so much criticism from that side of the House. The Labor Party should hold their head in shame. They used to back miners. In fact, they were established by miners on the West Coast. It's us in New Zealand First and the coalition government that are backing the miners now. And I've been over on the West Coast during the holidays, and I'll tell you what, they are looking forward to the extension of that Bathurst mine. And Bendigo and Central Otago, I see Scott Willis today in the ODT lambasting it. So he can hang his head in shame that he's turning his back on potentially $10 billion of foreign exchange, 750 jobs, 400 of them direct. There's 1,200 applications or notifications of interest for jobs in that mine. Many of them are Kiwis looking to return from Australia to get a decent job here. That's what creating opportunities looks like in areas like mining, and we're not too proud, and we're really proud to be backing it. And we ask that the Labor Party in particular change their tune on this, because it is embarrassing given their heritage. We'll take your votes, thank you very much if you don't. Water and wool were my priorities going into 2025, and again, we are delivering on that. 13 water storage and irrigation projects have been funded by the Regional Infrastructure Fund, building resilience and diversification in places like Northland, Hawke's Bay, Canterbury, Wairarapa, and we're pending in places like Tairāwhiti, Hawke's Bay, Marlborough and Otago with another $185 million worth of investment going on top of the $205 million that's already gone in. And we need to get the RMA reform right to enable that critical infrastructure. But what I really wanted to talk about was my favourite subject, and time will preclude me going on, but wool is booming, Mr. Speaker. Wool is absolutely back. Thursday is my favourite day of the week. It's Oxen Day. Last week it went up 10%. Last year it went up 30%. It started the year absolutely roaring. Now we're making a meaningful contribution to sheep and beef farmers' bottom line, and we are just getting started. The industry is coming together. We are pulling together a wool alliance of a fractured and disparate industry is coming together. We are innovating. It is not just about carpets and insulation. This is about acoustics, filtration, medicinal products and bioagents, which are the holy grail, the really high-value products that can be manufactured here, go into really high-value products at hundreds of dollars a kilo. It is the game changer that industry has been looking for. We are going to turn this into one of the great turnaround stories of New Zealand agriculture. So New Zealand First and myself, we've been active, we've been delivering results. We're going to the country in November with a story to tell, a story of jobs, a story of growth, a story of no nonsense, and a story of delivery. So, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to November 4th.